Time community, and welcome to the Wheel of Time Pod-Thru. I'm Teresa.
And I'm Tim.
And together, we're going to walk through Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time book series. How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
I am struggling with my allergies because it's ragweed season. Freaking ragweed.
Yuck.
Anyway, before we get started, we just want to remind you that this is a reread. We assume that you've read the entire series, so there will be spoilers. You have been warned. All right, Tim, what are we going to be doing in today's episode?
Today we'll be discussing chapters 16 and 17 of the Dragon Reborn, where Elayne joins Egwene and Nynaeve in the hunt for the Black Ajah, and then Elaida crashes the party. Chapter 16 is called Hunters 3, and the icon is the Lion of Andor.
Here's a quick summary to act as a reminder for those of you who are not reading along with us. Egwene and Nynaeve get to Nynaeve's room in the accepted quarters and find Elayne, Gawain, and Galad waiting for them. Egwene gets all Twitter-pated over how handsome Galad is and can't form a coherent thought. Elayne tells Nynaeve that she didn't want to be alone, and her brother spotted her and followed her to Nynaeve's room. They would not take no for an answer. They both try to badger Elayne for an explanation of where she's been, playing on her guilt over Morghase's fury. They try to throw their weight around as her big brothers, but Elayne won't budge. Eventually, Nynaeve has had enough and throws them out. Galad makes one last-ditch effort to turn his immeasurable charm on Nynaeve and sweet-talk her, but she is unmoved and threatens to report them to the Master of Arms if they don't leave her room immediately. We interrupt this chapter for some useless teen drama. Elayne complains about Galad as usual and tries to push Egwene towards Gawain instead. They both talk boys until Nynaeve calls them out for childish gossip when they have more important matters to discuss. Nynaeve starts to tell Elayne about the Black Ajah, and Egg stops her because the Amyrlin said to keep Elayne out of it. Nynaeve explains that the Black Ajah sees the two of them as threats, so it makes sense to have a third in on the secret that no one else knows about. Eggs warns her that it'll be dangerous, and Elayne responds that the Queens of Andor are expected to be courageous, and she has to learn to control her fear if she's going to sit the throne one day. Nynaeve catches her up on the events of the last two chapters and finishes by saying that she thinks the Amyrlin may let Mat die. Neither Elayne nor Eggs can believe that. Nynaeve can't be sure, but she knows that whatever the Amyrlin decides to do, it'll be for the good of the tower, not for their good or for Mat's. Nynaeve rummages around for her herbs and tells them that she's going to try to heal Mat herself. Elayne tells her that neither Varen nor Moraine were able to heal him even with an Ongriel. If she tries to draw that much of the power, she could burn herself up or still herself. Nynaeve says they keep telling her that she has the potential to be the most powerful Aes Sedai in 1,000 years. Perhaps it's time to find out if they're right. She won't let Mat die, even if it means risking death herself. Eggs points out that they keep saying all three of them are super powerful, so they should try healing Mat together. Just as they get up the gumption to go to Mat, the door bangs open and in walks an Aes Sedai, thwarting their plan.
I was thinking about how Galad and Gawain are just kicking it with Elayne in Nynaeve's room, and it kind of bothers me.
Okay.
My college experience was not the typical one because I went to a private religious university where girls' dormitories were monitored pretty well. Mm-hmm. The accepted rooms must be something like the equivalent of a college dorm, where the novice rooms may be more like a boarding school. What I'm getting at is, why were the boys allowed to enter a room that did not belong to the girl they were with? Uh-huh. The examples of the kind of life Tower initiates live all point to very cloistered, almost convent-like kind of life.
Yeah.
I just find it weird that they were allowed to be there in the first place when the person they were obviously with did not want them around. It shouldn't matter if they were royalty or not. Mm-hmm. I'm a little torn on the whole, your safety is very much our affair line that Galad gives. If anyone has an actual job of seeing Elayne's safety, that's basically Gawain's role as First Prince of Andor.
Yeah.
And I get that Galad, as the older half-brother, may have some claim to that responsibility as well. But I do think that Nynaeve was right for pointing out that Elayne really does not owe them anything.
Absolutely.
The boys wanted to stay in the tower and train with the warders, not stay and ensure that Elayne was safe. I totally side with Elayne when she is pissed off that they think she would need someone to look after her. Yes, she is young, but not much younger than Galen or Galad.
Yeah. Honestly, both boys are acting like jerks.
Yeah.
They are dripping with privilege and entitlement. Like, yes, it is Gawain's job to protect Elayne, and they both endured Morghase's tirade, but that doesn't give them the right to badger Elayne the second they see her.
No.
I mean, geez, the girl hasn't unpacked yet. You know, it's like, I know they want answers, but they're not entitled to know everything going on with her. And she obviously doesn't want to talk about it.
Nope.
Big brothers or no, they have no right. And I mad love the part where Galad tries and fails to charm Nynaeve.
Yeah, totally.
He is fully aware of the effect that he has on women, and he dials it up to 11 to manipulate Nynaeve, but to no avail. He's so surprised and disappointed when it doesn't work. And it's not that Nynaeve is completely unaffected. You know, like, she smooths her skirts and later comments that he's too handsome for his own good. It's just that she has enough poise, and let's face it, stubbornness, to keep her head and stay focused despite his charms.
Yeah. You've talked about this before, but we get a great example of how Nynaeve has come to see Elayne as one of her people.
Oh, yeah.
The reason she takes both Galad and Gawain down a peg in this scene is not just because they're acting like overprotective brothers or because she has no time for their crap. She comes at them in mama bear mode when Gawain tells Elayne that he knows she's been to see Sheriam because she's been crying and won't sit down.
Yeah.
Which will only embarrass Elayne and make her feel like crap.
Yeah, absolutely. Full mama bear mode.
Yes, so Nynaeve will get a little bit of satisfaction out of making the boys run with their tail between their legs, but she did what she did to keep the boys from pressing Elayne any further. She was looking out for Elayne.
Totally agree.
And one thing I respect about Elayne is that while she can't help being a princess at times, she really does try to put that aside while she's in the tower. Like, making the choice not to accept Nynaeve's salve for her bruises is not just a mark of maturity. She's making a conscious decision not to take advantage of having Nynaeve as a friend and to endure the pain like any other novice would be required to.
Yeah. So Nynaeve does not trust the Amyrlin, so she's going to go about their mission her way. She wants to bring Elayne in because it makes sense to have a third.
Right.
I don't know how smart it is to make Elayne the person no one knows about, because it's no secret that the three of them are close friends.
True.
It stands to reason that they would have brought her in, but still, I mean, it was a good idea to begin with.
Yeah, and she is powerful. I mean...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But, like, Nynaeve's reasoning is, we need someone that no one knows about. It's like,
yeah, well,
guys, you might want to rethink that part of the plan. We all know that you're going to tell Elayne.
Yeah. Jordan set up a lot of stuff that pays off really, really well. I like the story of a past Queen of Andor riding into the thick of battle like a banner man with a royal standard held high. When I first read the story, I can remember thinking, well, that's heroically stupid, but in a good way. And later, when Elayne basically does the same thing during the War of Succession, I remember thinking that it was really badass and still heroically stupid.
Yeah.
But I loved it. When Jordan pays something off, he does it very well. And man, Elayne sure knows how to beat a metaphor into the ground. I mean, she's not wrong about being sent to the lions, but damn.
Yeah. Nynaeve is a smart cookie.
Yes, she is.
She figured out that the Amyrlin may let Matt die, even though she's not sure why. She can see the loophole in what Varen and Swan told them, even if Egwene and Elayne can't. And of course, she's going to do everything she can to help Matt, even if it means burning herself out or killing herself. Nynaeve never lacks for bravery. But man, oh man, it's a good thing that the three of them didn't try to combine powers and heal Matt.
Oh, gosh.
Like, that would have been a disaster.
Yeah, real short series.
Yeah. For as smart as all three girls can be sometimes, they certainly have more heart than sense.
Yeah. That wraps up Chapter 16. But before we get to Chapter 17, here's a quick word from our sponsors.
Today's episode of the Wheel of Time Pod-Thru is brought to you by Hunting Tips and Tricks of Elayne. Hunting is like being told to go up in the hills and find lions, only you don't know whether there are any lions. But if there are lions, they may be hunting you, And they may be disguised as bushes. Oh, and if you find any lions, try not to let them eat you before you can tell where they are. Also, I like lions. This has been Hunting Tips and Tricks with Elayne.
Chapter 17 is called The Red Sister, and the icon is the flame of Tar-Valon.
The theme for this chapter is that Elaida is the worst. Remember that. It will come up again.
Sorry, I couldn't keep it back.
Elaida comes in like she owns the place. Nynaeve tries to excuse herself, but Elaida won't let her leave. She takes Nynaeve's herbs and tells her that she's not a village wisdom any longer, and trying to hold on to the past will only hold her back. Elayne tries to speak, but Elaida tells her that she broke a bond between Tar-Valon and Caemlyn that has lasted 1,000 years, and she will be silent. She asks if the girls are aware that the Black Ajah is in the tower, and Nynaeve says they've been told. Elaida demands to know where they went and what they've been doing. Egwene struggles to answer, but Nynaeve swoops in and says that the Amyrlin told them not to speak of it now that they've been punished. Elaida is not pleased, but she turns the conversation to Rand and the Two Rivers instead. Before she can push them too hard, the door bangs open again, and Sheriam comes in and saves them. Elaida leaves, and Nynaeve asks Sheriam what she did with the body of the Grey Man. Sheriam is pissed that they defied her and told Elayne about the Grey Man. She tells them that the Amyrlin has commanded that they speak to no one about it. They are not allowed to try any Nancy Druin and are to forget about the Grey Man completely. To their great relief, she tells them that she has come to fetch them for Mat's healing, and they are thrilled that the Amyrlin decided to heal Mat after all.
Elaida is such an overbearing asshole.
Always.
She bursts into the room like she wanted to catch them in some kind of wrongdoing. She insults Nynaeve for her dependence on her herbs. Then she tells Elayne that she's responsible for being dismissed from Andor. Then she sits down as if she were the queen holding court. I get that she's an Aes Sedai and a Red, but she's acting so much worse than any other entitled behavior we've seen from an Aes Sedai yet.
Yeah, Elaida is the worst. She just is.
Yeah. The moment when Elayne speaks up and tries to correct Elaida by saying, quote, "I was not carried off," it's one that really stands out for me. Elaida embraces the power and threatens to teach Elayne a lesson in front of Egwene and Nynaeve. And Elayne actually meets her eyes and returns an angry gaze. None of the girls actually embrace the power, but Elayne takes a minute before giving over and apologizing for her behavior. The reason this stands out for me is, while I think Elaida is a completely horrible person, I do believe she truly means to see Elayne become the first openly Aes Sedai queen in 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And part of being an Aes Sedai is keeping your emotions in check. At the same time, Elaida is constantly being driven by her own emotions in this very scene. She even embraces the Source as a threat because she's mad, when it's the job of the Mistress of the Novice to dole out discipline to novices and accept it. I think this experience is not just a shock for Elayne. It goes a long way to helping both Elayne and Egwene overcome their conception of all Aes Sedai being trustworthy and good. So it's a kind of pivotal moment.
Yeah. And I mean, I do think you're right. I do think Elaida absolutely wants to see Elayne as the first open Aes Sedai queen.
Yeah.
Like, that's what she's been working for. That's why she attached herself to Morghese in the first place, I think.
I think you're right, yes.
I mean, to be honest, I don't remember when Elaida did that. But I think she had a foretelling that led her in that direction or something. I don't remember.
I don't remember
The
either.
point is, she absolutely wants Elayne to gain the shawl.
Yes.
And, I mean, okay, so Elaida's motivations, now that we know that she's not a Black sister, aren't terrible. She's selfish and she's ambitious. But she wants the girl, well, at least Elayne. She wants Elayne to gain the shawl. And, like, back in New Spring, she did want Moraine and Swan to gain the shawl.
Yes.
But her methods
they're horrible.
are insane. It's like, she's so counterproductive. She ends up thwarting her own goals because she's so freaking ridiculous.
Yep.
She is a very well-written character.
because
she makes me crazy.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, the story wouldn't be the same without her.
Yeah, like, I love to hate her. And,
Yes.
oh my God, I hate her. But in a good way, you know?
Yeah.
The girls manage Elaida much better in this scene than they have in the past.
Yes.
Well, Eggs still gets tripped up and stammers, but Nynaeve has no problem deflecting Elaida's questions and doesn't tell her anything. Mm-hmm. It's not until Elaida starts grilling them about Rand that they really start to struggle, but luckily Sheriam comes in to spare them before having to give too much away. Elaida leaves the girls wondering if she's a Black Ajah, but Elaida is just a red herring. I definitely wondered the first time through if Elaida was black, but it turns out that she's not. That's not to say that she's not a disaster walking around in a red shawl. It's like we were saying before. She may not be capital E evil, but she may as well be with all the damage that she inflicts.
Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, I think she's more destructive than several of the Dark Friends who are actually trying to destroy the tower, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, she's so bad. She's so bad.
And we'll talk in detail about all the awesome decisions she makes that ends up doing lots of harm later.
Yeah, we'll get to that in the next book.
Yeah.
So Elayne tells Sheriam that Elaida threatened her with stilling if she doesn't stop being willful. And Sheriam tells her that she must have misunderstood. I don't know what Elayne is talking about here. Like, Elaida does embrace the power and threatens to teach Elayne a lesson right then and there, but I just assumed she was going to beat Elayne herself.
Yeah.
You know, like, it seems like the threat was that she wouldn't bother to send her to the Mistress of Novices. She'd give Elayne a beating herself. It's completely inappropriate, but it's definitely not stilling. Like, do you have a different read for that part? Like, do you know what Elayne was referring to?
No. I mean, no. The simple answer is I don't know what Elaine's talking about with the stilling thing. Okay. Like, the way I read it is the same way you described. Like, Elaida may definitely, like, you know, take a switch to her with some air. She may beat her. She may do something like that. But I don't read Elaida threatening to still her in any of that. Now, maybe Elayne is somehow, like, really stressed and she's interpreting the whole, like, because Elaida is basically treating her like crap because of what happened with, you know, her being asked to leave as Aes Sedai advisor. Mm-hmm. So maybe Elayne is projecting more into that, more of her guilt, but I definitely don't understand why she tells Sheriam, hey, she threatened to, like, still me, because that didn't happen.
Yeah, like, I didn't see that at all. And I reread it several times because I was like, what am I missing here? I mean, she definitely said something to the effect of, if you can make it, then you'll be queen one day. Like, if you live that long, kind of thing.
Yeah, if you live that long.
But I mean, I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all. Like, I have no idea what Elayne was talking about. You know, so I was just trying to see, did I miss something? You know,
I've worked with kids. I've worked with kids in schools. And there's definitely, like, a thing where kids can be so afraid that they don't actually hear what an adult is saying when they're in trouble. Mm-hmm. Like, some kids are they're just so fixated in it and have so much anxiety when they're in trouble for something. They hear the adult say things they don't necessarily say. They interpret them some way. Right. So Jordan might be trying to do that here, but I still think Elayne is a little too young to be doing that. I mean, she is not like a third or... sorry, I said that backwards. I think Elayne isn't young enough to be that kind of a kid. Like, I'm talking like third, fourth grade kids, really young kids get that kind of scared. Yeah. So I don't see Elayne doing that, but maybe that's what Jordan was trying to go for.
I don't know. I just thought that was really confusing.
I agree. When Sheriam makes the comment, quote, few meek women ever achieve the ring and the shawl, this is not to say, of course, that you must not learn to act meekly when required. And then all three of them say, yes, Sheriam Sedai. It's kind of heartwarming. Like, Sheriam is a teacher, the kind that you remember from school as being strict but cool. That's part of why her coming out as a black sister later is such a betrayal of trust. She really did appear to want these girls to gain the shawl. And her method of motivation is far superior to many of the other Aes Sedai that we've encountered in the story.
Yeah, definitely.
Nynaeve has no fear. She does not even pause after being chastised for disobeying orders by bringing Elayne in. Sheriam tells her that, by order of the Emerald, she is to talk to no one about the Grey Man other than Sheriam and the Emerald herself. And the next thing out of Nynaeve's mouth is to keep asking Sheriam more questions about the Gray Man. No hesitation, just marching forward. You just can't keep her down.
Right. So in the tower, healing is always done in the presence of those who bring the sick to the Aes Sedai. That is a very convenient policy.
Huh? What do you mean?
Well, from the sound of it, Nynaeve hasn't gotten to study healing yet, and they're barely in the tower again before spiriting off after the Black Ajah. So I don't think she gets any formal training in healing until Saladar.
Oh.
But because she's able to witness Mat's healing, and because she can perform a weave after only seeing it done once, she's able to heal when they're out in the world. That really comes in handy.
Oh, yeah, I hadn't put that together yet.
Yeah, like I really don't think she's gotten any training yet. So, I mean, she knows how to heal with her herbs because she was wisdom and she's Nynaeve. But, like, as far as healing with purposefully using weaves.
Like being able to see it and make the weave.
Yeah, to heal like
okay.
an Aes Sedai.
Okay.
She hasn't learned how to do that yet. But I think we'll actually hear her say later when they come across the maidens and she has to heal one, that she remembered what she witnessed in Mat's healing and she can replicate it.
Yeah,
something like that.
I must have just read past that. That's awesome. Cool.
I'm pretty sure that's how it plays out.
I think you're right, because you have a much better memory than I do. But like for some reason, I never connected that here when I read through. Awesome. Mm-hmm. And yay, Matt is going to live.
Woohoo!
And that's it for chapters 16 and 17 of The Dragon Reborn. Join us next week for chapters 18 and 19, where we finally get around to healing Matt.
There have been a bunch of really short chapters in a row.
Yes, there have been.
But they're going to be getting longer soon, so we should enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah.
We hope that you enjoyed this episode of the Wheel of Time Pod-Thru.
We'll see you again next week. Make sure that you rate and subscribe to us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. If you could leave us a positive review, it would really help us out. It makes us more visible so people can find us. You can tweet us at Pod-Thru or email us at whatpodthru@gmail.com and tell us your thoughts on anything we covered today.
That's WOTPODTHRU@gmail.com, or find our Wheel of Time Pod-Thru channel on YouTube. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, all the things. Thanks, everybody, and we hope the wheel weaves you in our direction again soon.
Oh my God.
So that happened. Okay.
Oh, wow.
I don't want to make Elayne sound like an idiot, but God, this was bad writing.
Yes, this was bad writing. Yes.
I should make that the outtake for the episode.